Lambalala, I go by the name of Rose Romero. I am a lifestyle beauty and storytime content creator, and therefore welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're a day one, welcome back, Bulala, and if you're a new subscriber, welcome, Lala. I hope you stay. I hope you have found your home with us. Re tla leka ho tshwara smart le Oleg. Anyway, it's not part two, hey? Is it? It isn't part two. It isn't part two, but I remember last time I promised you guys a story time of basically a comparison between my birth, um, basically my birthing center, which is not exactly considered a center, my birthing centers, both in the private and in the public sector. No, just a background story. If you didn't know, I recently gave birth 4 months ago. It's almost 5 now. I recently gave birth 4 months ago. It was early January 2026. And basically, I'm considered a new mother. And there are certain things that I went through due to the fact that I was now admitted at a public institution or a public hospital, unlike when I was admitted when I had my first in the year 2013, right? Yes, in the year 2013, whereby I was in a private facility. I know the story time came a tan bit too late. I know I'm like 2, if not 3 weeks late, and this was supposed to come out literally a week after the last story time. But guys, like I mentioned prior, I'm a new mom. My time is consumed by a tiny little being who consumes majority of my life. Even I don't have time for myself anymore. Literally, I don't have time for myself, and yeah. So honestly, when you get a vlog that week, uh, guys, you got a vlog. I won't even say be thankful or grateful or anything of that nature, because like it's not like I'm doing you guys a favor. If anything, you're doing me a favor by watching me. But guys, just be receptive of the fact that making you eating vlog. If making a latelang ayiyo guys. Ayiyo. Just forgive me in advance. It's 5 to 5 in the evening, and it is the 20 something of May. It's a Monday. I don't want to 20 something. I get what I can do 20, but I'll put it on down here. I'm having a hot beverage, if that counts for something. We are having some tea, so it is cold. We are in the middle of almost winter. After all, we are in the season autumn. So yeah, a hot bev. That's the work. As promised, we are comparing between the two facilities. I'm gonna narrate somewhat of my recent birth experience, and then compare every now and again. I will compare it to my last one, also comparing the facility at the same time. Doing this out of the top of my head, I'll probably forget a couple of things. I will add them if needs be, but just bear that in mind. Nonetheless, I have two daughters, right? One I gave birth to in the year 2013, so I have a teenager, and I'm also a mom to a newborn. Now the difference between the two is that with my first, I had the privilege of giving birth to a private facility. I was in PE at the time, and private facilities are a lot that side. There's quite a number. If I'm not mistaken, there's like 4, if not 5, like private facilities. And I guess there is just as many public ones. But yeah, unlike this side whereby we only have one hospital, literally, and that is a government one. The story has been said a lot of times, guys, that like being at let alone just giving birth, but being at a public facility, I feel like it's an extreme sport. Honestly speaking, I literally feel like actually public anything, trying to gain services from a public anything, especially hospitals, is literally an extreme sport, because you never know what else that's in there. Like you literally never know what else that's in there, right? Um, you can literally be the nicest person on earth and still get to be assisted by the rudest of people. And once that basinang khathalo as much. So this time, unfortunately for me, with my second, we had tried to get medical aid. I think I did mention this on the previous vlog, but if I didn't, I'll just put it out there. We had tried, when I found out that I was pregnant, we had tried getting a medical aid, but none of them wanted to cover my pregnancy. Let's get things ready for her, then I'll just give birth at a public hospital. Hated the idea. I won't lie to you, but it just so happened that it had to happen that way. Cool. So, as per discussion with my gynae, I was meant to give birth in Queenstown. That was not a decision that we took on our own accord. If it is a public hospital, I would have preferred to give birth at our public hospital. It's closer to home. It's convenient. Like how nearly home ground advantage. I preferred that. It just so happened that earlier in my pregnancy, I fell ill. I fell really, really ill. I remember coming up on here and informing you guys that it feels like I'm having gas issues, and each and every time the night set, oh my soul, or the sunset, oh my soul, like the excruciating pain I would go through. It was even difficult sleeping. Excuse me. I had trouble sleeping up until at some point I was just not having it. My body could not take it anymore. And I just went to hospital so that they figure out what's the issue, because none get that it's a gas issue. And there's something, there's an underlying problem or a health risk or anything of that nature, you know. So we that's during that period when I was hospitalized, I was informed of the fact that when they were checking me, I remember the following day when I got to see the doctor that was on duty that day. He told me that the baby's fine and everything, you're just having gas issues. And he also informed me that I don't recall how the conversation came about, but I was also informed that you're probably like over 100. Well, I was asked at first, you're probably over 100 kilograms, right? And I confirmed. And he went on to say that, yeah, either way, with you wouldn't be able to give birth with us. Anyone who is overweight is referred to Queenstown, which is yet again I forgot the name of the hospital. I remember seeing my gynae the week after, informing her of what went down. Remember, I said that she's basically from out of town. She comes to well, the last time I went to her, she came to Alonok, like literally once every 2 weeks. You're talking fortnight. I never understood the concept of fortnight. So I couldn't like wake up. Going to her would mean I would travel out of town, and I had a health issue at that point in time. You get cool. So I inform her, I'm like, okay, as much as I wanted to give birth at home, the thing is now that they are not agreeing to that. They're informing me that anyone who's over 100 kilograms is not assisted in terms of birth giving. You're referred out of town. And she also actually explained that they do not have the facility to accommodate anything that would happen. An overweight woman is a health risk. Anything can happen. And then she says, I will speak to the because I had always expressed with her and told her that the reason why I came to you is because I don't want to be touched by people I'm unfamiliar with, you know. It's a win. So I would prefer that you be the one who helps me or assists me in giving birth. And she was cool with it. We had an entire birth plan, guys. We had an entire birth plan. And she was like, which is good. Meaning on that day, then it's a confirmed matter. On that day, just travel to how long? I just traveled to Queenstown. You don't have to go the route, because when you go, if I had to go the route yanto, I would assume at our hospital on that particular day. I would assume that no tla make fumane ke admit pele. Then who fumane the nearest or the closest time whereby they would actually have an available ambulance what would transport me to, and I wanted to bypass all that. Guys, that comfort is everything to me. Hence why I've been the gynecology route. Comfort is everything to me. So I had preferred to travel with my mom vehicle. so that I'd just be comfortable, you know. I figured that we'd just travel together there and it would be cool. So that was the plan. Don't even go to the hospital, just go straight to Queenstown. Um, that was the entire plan the whole time. We were cool. There was even an appointment that you were supposed to schedule for me with the hospital that side because apparently they need to see you at least for a last visit. You know, like I said in the previous video, a lot happened in December, so I never got to have that visit with the Queenstown Hospital. So I booked for another appointment, right? Which would be the 10th of January. That was the next time she was available in Alumov, right? That day, because by then I recall saying something around the lines that makes sense and everything. Look, I was past my due date. Well, my supposed due date. I was way past it, and I wanted the baby out. I just wanted the baby out. So I was considering things like angete a membrane sweep, and basically I didn't figure actually. Basically, they are the only ones who do that because I tried going to get one at a private clinic that we have, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that, Mama. You don't do that." Apparently, gynecologists are the only ones who do that. But the funny part is, the day I gave birth, ne? I'm assuming that that nurse is what they call a midwife. Well, sweep, sweep. That is what a membrane sweep is. I'm sweeping, and it was hell. But yeah, I was already going through hell because the sense so it wasn't as bad. So that day, then I leave that appointment, right? And then she gives that to me. Little did I know, that was the same day I was gonna give birth, Sana. I went to bed that night with the idea that you're gonna the following day, right? Right. I am woken up at I am woken up at around 3:20, 3:30 in the evening. The night before, I saw a ton lot of mucus plaque coming out, and I was certain about the fact that I'm certainly giving birth tomorrow, right? And I recall asking, I was like, basically thanking God on some, thank you, Lord Jesus Christ, for this. Finally, I'm gonna get my relief. But on top of it, so that I have the strength for what's gonna happen the following day, right? I gave birth on the 10th of January 2026. Right, the first month of the year. We got to the hospital. The reception was great. I don't want to lie. From the gate to the door, so much assistance. It was, it was so good. It was the first time I experienced such great treatment from Batuba Gating. You normally get hostility from them, even way before Ukenaga. Even way before Ukena speaking. So I was so happy. They were so helpful. Popularly, this other nurse, I mean, not the nurse, the security, and Tusa, and push, even though she was knocking me into the walls, not on purpose, of course, but she was so helpful, And then I tell you something that's not a job because that's a porter's job, but nonetheless, it was great until I got into the receiving room, and a lot changed, guys. The atmosphere on its own, but hostile. It's almost as if we're in there. It's a lot. It's a lot. You're not assisted in a lot of things. Like you're not assisted. You are not assisted. Bonaba pusher they and they just want information from you. I recall what happened with the book that I've forgotten that I needed to get me. That and a lot. Right? Guys, big ming and a bingy one. The reason why I say I didn't get much assistance, for instance, with my first at the private hospital, which was Netking, Green Acres. I recall I entered, right? I was told, well, I informed them, not I was told, I informed them at reception. Well, not reception, because reception that fee that I need to pay. When I got there, maternity ward and or labor ward, whatever you call it. I got there informed them that my doctor said, because now I was already in active labor. I am always literally in active labor. It's any minute now, you know? Who I got there, informed them what was going on, and it was a whole commotion around the lines of he was the one who was supposed to inform us, blah 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 blah. Kwakningi. And then there was another one who saw that I was in pain. She looked at me and she was like, "What did you kind of say again? How far along you are in terms of, dilation?" And I was like, he said I was 10 centimeters. Guys, I kid you not. That was in the year 2013, right? I kid you not. That lady didn't say any further. She didn't say anything else. She went around her desk. She grabbed my bag. She was like, "Come." We went to the receiving room or whatever room that you call it, Marmani, whereby you give birth. Yeah, that room. I don't know room, receiving room. But nonetheless, I got there and immediately there were two nurses who were assisting me. One was assisting me and the other was gathering the information. You know, literally, yes, bonka the pressure, but there's always one on your side trying to calm you down. As you're getting contractions, you're ushered into breathe. Basically, you're told to hyperventilate. In not so many words, it's basically apparently it's better when you do that. Not, not, but yeah, that's what they say. And I recall there was a point in time whereby when I got my next contraction, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I just cried. I literally just cried because it was that painful. And I recall her wiping off my tears, trying to calm me down. She speaks softly, you know, she speaks softly. You're told, "Calm down, mommy. You're gonna distress baby once you start crying. So let's be calm." She put an oxygen mask on me, and every time I got a contraction until my gynae arrived, like I think it was 2-3 minutes later from the time I was ushered into the labor. And then he takes over. But the one on Zanka information that's needed. The administration of side of things, she's busy with it. There's also one who's assigned specifically for mommy. She even holds your hand, guys. Literally, she even didn't the one on TV. It actually happens in real life. Did you know? It literally happens in real life. She holds your hand. I didn't get that. I didn't get that with our hospital, unfortunately. Instead, I was met with a whole lot of hostility. When you ask for assistance, yeah, Shonoba, do this, take off. Whereas I recall with my first, I was assisted with taking off my clothes. I was assisted with putting on their gown. There's a lot of assistance that goes on in private facilities that doesn't go on in our public. But I was just fortunate that, unlike most public facilities, ours at least allows for you to have your loved ones around you. You are allowed either your spouse or your partner. You are allowed a parent. A parent, whether it be your father or your mother, but you are allowed a parent, nothing else. Unfortunately, now was birthed by Iguala guys, so Mama Magazine, she just doesn't. And my sister was willing to be there for me, but they didn't allow her to. I recall with my first, those things were allowed, but because we got there at the last minute and we didn't get to reiterate the fact that I actually want my other sister in the room because she wanted to be in the room. It's just that we didn't inform them, I guess. They didn't see her as a birth partner, if I may put it as such. So with my first, yes, I was pretty much alone, but I got a lot of assistance from the staff, honestly speaking. The stay itself, the stay was a 3-day long stay, which probably has to do with the fact that 12,000 to turn it's up a night. Because believe it or not, a stay at a hospital I believe, is more expensive than a stay at a 7-star. But do correct me if I'm wrong. It's more expensive than a stay at a 7-star hotel. One night at a hospital, at a private hospital, is around 12,000 rand. Literally, literally. So I think it was more about them chowing the money from the medical aid. But at the same time, the treatment is also great. So even though they are chowing, but it's every hand, The food is great as well. Here, the food is fair. I wouldn't say the big, but the food is with our public hospital. The food is fair, Shane. It's fair. It's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible. Also get 3 meals as per anyone else. It's just that with a private facility, I recall that I got dessert, not at a public. At a public, you just get food. So anything extra, at least from home, you're bought by the people that get to thingy. One thing I will, like I said previously, that I will always appreciate our hospital for was the fact that, because I recall that I was informed actually, because I got asked multiple times that when I go give birth in Queenstown, can I at least get a private room? I didn't mind paying for it. And can my partner be with me in the room? You know, can my partner be with me in the room? Because I'm gonna need the moral support. I knew for a fact that I wasn't gonna get it with the nurses. I was informed that unfortunately he wouldn't be able to be in the same room as me because they are majority of the time at full capacity, meaning I might even give birth in a room with other women because I couldn't get a private room either. They don't do that apparently. I'm being so disappointed and being like, so for the second time around, I'm not gonna have my loved ones around me. To top it off, this time around, I won't even have assistance, from the nurses either. Because whenever I push them so on, that's not going to anything else. I was so sad about that. And I feel like those were moments that God was listening to me about. Because one thing about God, even though at times I feel like he's not listening to me, when I literally go on my knees and ask for things, but it is in my sad moments where I I literally don't ask anything from him that he actually pulls through. That's the funny part about him. And our relationship, if I may put it as such. That's the funny part because, like I believe I had mentioned prior, that everything that I had wanted or and that I was willing to pay for at the Queenstown facility, it came to pass. And another thing is that even the party where I wanted to have a home ground advantage, guys. I wanted to be home. If I was going to give birth at a public facility, let it at least be here at home. And that that happened too. That happened too. I recall when I walked in that door, nothing was said about me being referred to just like that doctor had said. Apparently, get over referred to out to Queenstown, nothing of that sort in nature was said to me. I was admitted, I was taken straight to the labor room. I was that long, what is so long again in English? I was not administered, I was examined. They were basically assisting me with my birth. Nothing about referrals. Nothing about referrals. So it makes me wonder what reading at you know, how are you even a doctor? If Fenaka misinformation, you know? But yeah, I'm not here for that. Oh, also with public facilities, the only thing keeping you at the hospital is basically baby's poop. If all is well, apart from other health risks, if all is well, basically the only thing that would be keeping you at the hospital at the time is any complications with baby. But it's not necessarily the most important thing, but for lack of a better word, I'll use the most important thing is that baby poops and you're out. Unfortunately, with me, current baby current baby literally decided to poop just after last visit. Like the visiting hours out there, which were around 7 or 8 around there. Yeah, just as the people left, basically the doctors had also a chaisite and stuff. Baby decided to poop. Whereas I feel like she had the whole day, guys. I literally gave birth before 10, but that girl pooped after 10, like 12 hours later. And I was just like, you couldn't do this a couple of hours later so that I discharge your like you wanted to keep us here. Why? Because she had no issues. The private is on that 3-day rule. Yeah, hore o tlameha re le monitorishe both of them because anything can go on, which I doubt it has to do with that. Ke taba ya tjhelete. They want the money. They want the shmoney, honey. They want the shmoney. But nonetheless, with them, there was also nothing wrong. It was just that the stay was just like, yeah, the stay was lovely, okay, because I ate well. I didn't even need with them. I didn't even need it. Like literally, I didn't need what get this and that. And I don't recall get if there was anything like I hope I remember it. But I don't think there was anything else like a form of dijo because dijo salmon was just great. They were literally great. You got apart from the three meals that you get and the dessert that you get, you also get like the in between meals. I wouldn't say they were snacks. They were in between meals. You every now and again you get a tea as per request, laboroto, you know. So you are never hungry. Like you're there, you were well fed at a private hospital. With public, it's just the three meals. There's no dessert, and yeah, anything else o tla itlelwa from high. And in terms of thing, I think the capacity yeah sharing was quite similar, believe it or not. I shared a room. I shared a room or a ward, whatever they call it, le two other women, but one I can on a discharge. So I was left with one other lady, a young, guys. Teenage pregnancy is real. Teenage pregnancy is real because the lady that I speak of, literally, she was, I think she's a year or two older than my eldest daughter. But that's not even a story for another day. I was just putting it out there that teenage pregnancy is real and it's scary. It's the scariest thing ever. Now that I have a teenager, I'm realizing how scary the idea of it all is. But nonetheless, we shared it with one other lady here who had been there for a while, and she was crying the whole time because she just wanted to go home. There were complications about her that I didn't know, because even when I was discharged, she still had to stay over. So she didn't take it well at all. But nonetheless, in terms of sharing capacity, they were like, in that room, there were like two, there were like four beds. Yeah, there were four beds. In the private facility, if I'm not mistaken, there were like six. It's just that I also lived in, I also shared it with one other lady. And then when I was discharged, another one was admitted. So basically, capacity is the same with both facilities. And I think with us, it's mainly because we are a small town and it is either it's hardly full or it's the fact that not a lot of people are pregnant, I guess, at the same time. I don't know, or are giving birth at the same time, if I may put it as such. The difference is the treatment, the treatment, the treatment, and the treatment. The difference is definitely the treatment. There's a lot of care that goes into your stay at a public facility. I mean, at a private facility than there is at a public. I remember even in terms of her first night, we didn't share it together. She was taken. She was taken. They were like, there was a point in time during the course of the night, I think it was after everyone had left, because your birthing partner, they are visiting hours, right? But your birthing partner is there anytime, anytime from morning, and I believe morning being 6, from 6 until 10 p.m. in the evening. They can get in any time that they want during the day. They can be there the whole time during the course of the day. I recall Munam Ausiena that I was sharing a room with. He would literally get there at 6 and leave at 10. I didn't have that privilege because my sister at the time had small children. So Onatla when she could. But in terms of visiting hours for her being my birthing partner, they went strict mainly because she was my birthing partner. So and her being off and everything at the time, she was able to come each and every time that she could. And then yeah, that was the only advantage about it. Whereas with your public facilities, they are only right after giving birth. What did you? They're told like, well, two sour oyeka wedding and everything. You settle in, and then he's told that, okay, daddy, thank you. You can leave and come back at visiting hours. They are only allowed to be there during the the birthing period, however long it is, up until that point in time whereby ubeba, he is around alongside your parent, whichever one it is. And then after the birth and everything, Watsamaya, they're not allowed to be there up until the visiting hours. And then they come back each and every time, only get the visiting hours. That's the difference in terms of the birthing partners. How and at the private facility, first night you don't get to spend time with baby. You do not get to spend time with baby at night specifically. So after Boteni, after a while the nurse pulls through, they're like, okay, mommy, I'm here to fetch baby. She's supposed to be in the incubator. So Bana at a private hospital are incubated a lot. They are incubated a lot. When they feel that they have dropped temperature or for any reason, they're incubated. With your public facilities, no incubation was done. No incubation was done. I remember even with my first, as big as she was, because honestly, she wasn't a full-term baby, but she was very big. She was actually, I think I gave birth to her at 36, if not 37 weeks, and she was 4.10. That's my first. Whereas my current baby, or might I say my second baby who I just gave birth to, was full term and she was 4.6. Did I say my first was 4.10? My first was 4.10 and she wasn't a full term baby. Whereas my second was a full term baby and she was 4.6. But even though my first was not a full-time baby and was that big still, because considering her weight, she would be considered a full-time baby. But she was incubated a lot. Like they would check on her as much as they checked on me. There are a multitude of tests and screenings that she had to go through. Body ear test, body eye test, body test for this and that and that and that and the other. Public, no such. They don't even ask you, you know, you're hardly asked about the you're the one who has to be like, ke bona 1, 2, 3, and then do 1, 2, and 3. They don't do it. When it's a 1, 2, and 3. That's your baby after all. Oh, and another funny fact was the fact that during the course of the night, those people disappear, guys. They disappear. They don't give it. They don't give a damn about your little bakatela. I think it's an hour past the visiting hours, and then that's the last time you see them. And they don't check on baby and you throughout the night. They just don't check, guys. They just don't check. The level of care there is non-existent. The level of care is non-existent, literally. And I'm even having thoughts of something that I heard happened to. I don't think I even want to talk about this because get also lamanzi awibua in a respectful manner. But care is so little. It's just that I can't really go into depth with everything that goes on there. And it is in during the moments whereby you need tender love, you need care, you need softness, that you don't receive it, because I didn't receive the softness, the care, the tender, the love that I needed from them during that period of my giving birth at a public facility. They don't afford you that shame. They are the coldest. They are so cold, guys. They are so cold. I remember even at that last moment, yeah, that woman didn't want me to touch her. Orogwa is not easy. I remember with my first I pretty much didn't feel the pain. Make it to me. I mean, like, I got an injection. I could say in, but basically you can feel the needle poking and the thread going. That was with my first going, but the pain is not there. Whereas with my second, even the pain was there. No bantlabila, because I recall there was something on, but still, I felt the pain. I felt the pain, guys, and even during that period, you know, or just to hold on to them, you're not afforded that. You are not afforded that. When you're giving birth, their bed is laying flat down. It hasn't reclined, but you're expected during that moment to hold your back up, at the same time hold the back of your thighs as you give njani. Make it make sense, njani. And it got me back to thinking, what happened at 2013 whereby I got so much care. I got so much, I was held, my hand was held. I felt like una pusha lina. And the funny part was that it was a white woman. And in the South Africa that we live in, one would assume that white people would not afford us the care that we wanted and needed because of the color of the skin and the history that we have. You know, you would assume that. But I found that I was handled better by our white counterparts, which, yeah, it was at a private facility, but still, I was held at a like hante, more of an egg kind of so by our white counterparts than I was by our our sisters and brothers. Re holang le bona. You know, re hola le bona batho bana. Ha ba batlo tshwarwa. They can't, ba ka so assist to phahama, ba ka so assist o paper. There's a lot they just don't do. There's so much that they just don't do, and it's sad. It's so sad. And then they do an entire 360 right at the moment, yeah. After everything, I was only in the room. Now they are laughing with you. Now they're sharing jokes. Now they are this. Now they are that. You're like, where was this Kamani? Where was all of this Kamani? You know? So I was just like, yeah, it's a horrible experience, guys, giving birth at a public facility. I wouldn't lie to you guys. I wouldn't lie to you. I get to wonder, had I paid the amount that I was willing to pay in Queenstown, get a private room, you know, with private care and everything, though it is a public facility. Maybe treatment didn't have better. You reckon? I don't know. I don't know, but what I know for a fact is that I didn't get the care that I had wanted, and more than wanted, that I needed, guys. Because during that vulnerable moments, or those vulnerable moments, you need that kind of care. And I received that care, and I didn't even know that I wanted that care in 2013, but I received it nonetheless. But now when I literally wanted and needed it, I didn't get to receive it, mainly because I was at a public facility. And you get to wonder, guys, what these very same nurses, Bayetsa, I think it is what is called, they call it moonlighting. I'm not sure about the terminology of it all, but there are some of them who, when they are off at these jobs, they go to, at the hospital that they work at, they go to work in private hospitals in your neighboring towns, like your Bloemfontein's, Gadite office, and I can't help but wonder, when they get to experience that and they attend a loving and caring on that side and coming back here and don't do the same things, but they call themselves health practitioners, what goes on through their mind? I think now during this period, what kept me sane was the fact that even in the absence of my partner as well as my mother, like at the times where in a city visiting hours, at least my aunt was there. Unadula aliting, unadula atwarangwana. She's my aunt. Like in Nebayena, because she too is a nurse. That's the only advantage I had. Had I been someone else who didn't have a relative there, I wouldn't have gotten such treatment, you know. And I was just so fortunate as well, because for the longest time, when I was in emergency, and guys, God works in mysterious ways. Like in Dimo Oya Mamela, even though you're not praying your thoughts, that's another thing. I could mention and know about the fact that out of all the other things that I had mentioned prior, say it's, I think, even though I didn't pray about them, but those were things that were deep in my heart. Another factor was the fact that because God knew that I was not gonna get the tender loving care that I had wanted. Like I said, my aunt was in emergency for the longest time, and then casualties, it's also called emergency, right? Casualty is emergency. She went in casualty for the longest time, and suddenly, I think she says like a week or so before I came there, she had just been moved to maternity. My luck, my luck. Because when I wasn't getting the care that I wanted, she was there. She was literally there. And I was just like, look at God. Look at God. Unadula lena. I think because of that, I got to get the most care. Unadula lena, unadula lena, majority of the time. Like, my child did not get to cry a lot in times where I went to the bathroom because she was around. Literally. So yeah, guys, that's about it. That's about as much of a comparison that I have in terms of my experience at a private hospital as well as that of a public hospital. I hope you guys have gotten more clarity. And basically, the advice I would offer you is that if you are either a expecting mommy, or you are someone who is planning to have a child in the future, the advice I would give to you is wait at least, or just to be on the safe side, because there are some medical aids that actually cover your pregnancy immediately when you take them. Actually, there's one that I know of. I guess there is one that I know of, but not everyone is a government employee. Yeah, James. Not everyone is a government employee, and not everyone wants to make use of the Intwatsa Gems. But if you're a government employee and you're planning to have a child in the future, definitely go the Gems route. They cover you immediately, pre-existing condition or not. You are covered, especially when you take a certain plan. I think it actually comes with a certain plan, because I recall that even when my mom took out that medical aid, I was already pregnant at the time, but they covered me instantly. But she was advised to inka a premium or a plan that is a bit higher, which at the time was Emerald, just to be on the safe side, or afumane to or allo paper in a private facility, and she did that. So I know that Gems does that. If you get a plan that is higher, or probably even with the lower plans, guys, I'm not sure. Just do your research. But if you're getting any other medical aid, or you're already on any other medical aid, make sure you don't fall pregnant within the first year. Wait for that 12 months to pass, and then you can start procreating. And then you can start procreating in order for you to give birth at a private facility. You will thank yourself later. I don't want to lie to you. You will thank yourself later. If you're already an expecting mom, you do not have a medical aid, or even if you do have a medical aid, but you had not yet passed the 12-month mark, and they are saying now, babe, you already had a pre-existing condition, blah blah blah. You know those medical aid terms that they like using in order for them to not cover certain things. Mommy, consider the option here, a birthing center, not a facility. Well, it is also a facility, not a hospital per se, but a birthing center. We have those in South Africa, but majority of them, actually, I think all of them are in Joburg. But consider that option if you don't have a medical aid, or if your medical aid, you had not passed that 12-month mark with it. Consider it's a way reasonable thing, especially if you're going to give birth naturally at that. Otherwise, if it's going to be a C-section, unfortunately, you're going to have to go the public hospital route, because that's what they do at birthing centers. If they feel that ba tlo kgona ho handle the situation in terms of it can't be a vaginal birth, they refer you to the closest public hospital. But when I just get that birthing center, and if you're going natural, it's a cheaper option, or let me say a more cost-effective option. I recall looking up a couple. They were around 20 something K. Yeah, they're around 20 something K. It's just that I live in I feel like I'm literally in the center, not entirely, but I feel like I'm in the center of South Africa, whereby these things, whether it be thingy private hospitals or even birthing centers, they are like now. You know, they're in different towns that are far away, or cities that are far away, if I may put it as such. And yeah, guys, otherwise, guys, get yourselves those medical aids. Also in the process of getting myself one. I'm still weighing my options, because you have options, guys. Another thing that people don't understand is that just because you're unemployed does not mean you can't have a medical aid. If you have the means in terms of the money to actually do it, even though you're unemployed, in order for you to be safe when it comes to such things. If any other thing happens other than giving birth, guys, we need medical aids, because sometimes they are all hospitalized. You don't have the actual cash to go to a doctor for any particular reason, especially when it comes to things like the specialists. The specialists which are sometimes a bit higher than that of a GP. Medical aid in that instance. So if you have the means in terms of chelete, even though you're unemployed, there are options that you can get the medical aid that take the unemployed, and also at a lower premium. You just pick one that is more suitable for you. Okay. So yeah. Otherwise, that's as much as of a comparison that I have in terms of both these facilities, and I hope you choose one that is best for you, one that works and suits you best. I know if push might come to shove with me again, which I doubt it will, because just like I never plan to have my second, I don't plan to have a third. But because I could get married in the future, and my spouse could want more children, and you never know. You honestly never know. But otherwise, for now, I'm not planning to have any more babies, guys. I was never planning to have any more babies. Now, like, I'm stricter. Like, now I've put precautions in place. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe, my lovies. Otherwise, that's as much of a story time that we have for today. I hope I get the opportunity to actually edit this one tonight so that it is up by tomorrow. But anyway, from me to you guys, it is all love. Oh, before I forget, remember that we still have that giveaway. I'm still waiting for you guys to push these my vlogs or my channel as a whole to other expecting mummies in order for them to get that giveaway. I will not mention what it is as yet, but it's products that I hardly got to use, or I never actually got to use, that I'm willing to pass forward or put forward. Is it to pass forward? Pay forward, right? Yeah, that. It's things that I'm willing to pay forward to expecting mummies or new mummies at that. So if you push my content to them and they push it to other people and we get to 1,000 subbies, I promise that giveaway will be available to a new mummy or an expecting mummy. So hardly can we push us so that gift some items, and I promise in the future that I will include other people other than the expecting ones. Otherwise, from me to you, it is all love, guys, now and forevermore. Till next time.